So I wanted to do one more example here of looking at some prints that have really good information. So here's a Christie's auction that just happened recently. This just happened over in the UK. And here are two prints, one by Hiroshige and Hokusai. So obviously both of these artists are incredibly well known. Their prints are everywhere. So I want to see what sort of information this search engine can provide for when you already have very famous prints. So let's download. Let's download the images here. So let's download this Hiroshige. Let's upload it to the site and see what we find. Alright, so we instantly find, so this is the one from the Christie's auction, and we can see there's a whole bunch here that are the same exact print. So what kind of similarities can we see here? Or even differences for that matter. Well, one thing we can see is that this is, at least compared with these, this is much dimmer. It's very faded. Almost all of these appear to have some sort of pink in the sky. This has almost no pink. This is incredibly light here. There doesn't appear to be much of any gradient, whereas all of these appear to have some sort of gradient. Yeah, and it appears to be in rather poor condition. There should be some margin up here. It looks to be very tightly cropped. This particular print does not appear to be in very good condition. But so this is very interesting. You can now learn this incredibly quickly. It's very hard to kind of gauge this when you're just looking at one print alone. But when you can look at a couple dozen similar prints, you can quickly gauge that this is a rather inferior version of this print. So let's look at the Hokusai as well. Do the same thing here. Let's save that image. Let's upload it. So if we do this again, just as before, we have the one we uploaded, and here are a whole bunch of the same exact print. One of the things I noticed right off the bat, though, obviously besides the fact that this one has a crease going through the center, is that almost all these prints have some sort of green in them. This one doesn't here. This one doesn't appear to have any green. So, but that's interesting. It doesn't appear to be faded. Like there would be green here and here. So the fact that it's not faded says to me that this print is something of an outlier. So this could be good or bad. Either it's a very early printing when they intentionally weren't doing green, or it's a very later printing, a much later printing where things were being done much more cheaply. So obviously it's a bit of a wild card. You have to do some more research, but maybe that in and of itself might be an indicator of something. One thing to note is that the colors seem to be quite good, even with the missing green. And one thing to note here is that the trees are actually printed with blue instead of green. Now that's pretty interesting. I remember reading that prints from the 36 Views of Mount Fuji series, which this is from, they were first printed with blue, and then later more colors were added in later editions. So maybe this is actually an earlier edition. But yeah, I would leave that to someone with a bit more experience here. But either way, this maybe the fact that this is different can now catch your eye, and now it would actually warrant more research at this point. So yeah, so this is interesting stuff that again can be learned very, very quickly. And as with all these prints on the site, you can click any of them. And for example, here, this is another one from the same series, very famous, and you can see just how many copies there are. And you can, again, you can learn so much stuff just by being able to see all these differences.